jokes are already bad enough.
But why can't I play the nostalgia critic music?
Because every joke you come up with... Puff, if I can show you Kino, will you not do it?
Sure. Show me Kino. Show me Kino right now.
Okay, ready? This is a finisher from an old One Piece game.
Yo, look at that big Sanji. This is so epic.
No, it gets better.
Okay, Luffy's bulletproof. He's
He
got
threw
this.
a fucking... Foxy also has a finisher. This game's awesome.
That does look really, really cool. My
I
God,
know.
that's so awesome. So anyway, I've
So,
been recording for the past 2 minutes.
I assumed...
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna do rom-com opinions today because we got a few questions about that on another video, and we had some other ideas to add on to it.
Because you were reading a good rom-com when that comment was made.
Yes, and apparently that rom-com had a bunch of bad videos made about it.
Oh, a concerning amount. A
Alright, so
concerning amount that are just like people admitting that they never understood the story to like a asinine degree.
or like maybe even like the genre itself if you want to go
Oh
to me
yeah,
on the
that's
take.
definitely possible. All right, so what are we
All right,
starting
all
with?
right. We're gonna start with Nisekoi because it's the funniest one.
Yeah, all
Now,
right.
for those of you, yeah.
Not to shock you people, but
Oh,
Nisekoi is good. Also, spoiler warning for
yeah.
Nisekoi.
Spoilers for all the stuff. I'll make a list when we get there. Okay, so
Mhm.
spoiler. So Nisekoi's whole deal is that there's main boy, and he has these two
Our
girls that he
boy
likes.
Raku.
Yeah, these two boys that he likes. His perfect trad wife that he's had a crush on for 10 years, and this new girl who he's also kind of getting into now. And then he doesn't choose the trad wife, and I think that was a mistake because why would you not choose the trad wife, Shiki?
That is
Why
quite
why would you
literally
not choose the
a
trad wife?
bunch of
He
people's
had the
criticism.
dream. He had the dream and he let it go. Why would he
That's
do
no,
that?
that is literally tons of people's criticism. And it's funny because there's a fucking word for it in Japan that it's like perfect wife. That's literally what Onodera is supposed to be.
Waifu.
No.
I know that's not the
Okay.
word, but I don't know that's
No,
not the word, but like
no,
that's the idea is that she is a
no,
perfect
and,
waifu.
no, and the point is she is supposed to represent like an ideal of like when Raku has like this stupid childish ideal of what love is. He's like, oh, I hang out with Onodera because she's so cute and nice and blah blah blah. I have never had a prolonged conversation with her, and I have never talked to her, despite the fact that I could easily do so, and my friend and her friend both desperately want us to. And then he actually ends up talking and hanging out with a girl, and he's like, "Oh, okay, this is what it's actually like to like someone
Yeah,
crazy."
basically the whole idea, like there's a whole like past, present, future theme in East Square, but
Yeah,
like to summarize it, like pining for love, even if it's been 10 years you've been pining for it, isn't the same as just like being in love, which is just like hanging out with them. Like the Nisekoi means false love. At first, he has to pretend to date this girl, but in the process of pretending to date her and spending time with her, he just falls in love with her instead of the girl he's been pining for 10 years. Like that's the story in a nutshell.
yeah. Where the trick is like the forced dating was closer to real love than the pining, because at least with the forced dating, he was actually hanging out with the girl.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool that like this was in like the I think like fourth or fifth final volume where
Yeah,
like they go on a date to the arcade and like that's literally when he realizes that he's in love with Shitoge. It was the when
yeah.
they're just in an arcade hanging out and that's all that happened was holy shit. I have so much fun with this girl. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And then another Nisekoi complaint is that, oh, well, the only reason this is usually applied to Onodera. Onodera didn't confess is because they were dragging out the story, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, the fact that Onodera can't bring herself to confess is like a big, like, that's why she fails, to put it simply.
Yeah, like again, like as we've been saying, like pining for love is like not what love actually is, and like Onodere kind of slots. She has the same mindset as Nichijou for most of the series. Like
Yeah, like
because like they
one,
basically like there's supposed to be a promise girl, a shocker. It's revealed to be Onodera. So like they promised to marry each other as children, and then like but as time went on, like obviously like they
yeah,
learned
like
what
that's another
actual love
part
is
of the
like.
ideal. It's like, oh, literally the girl I
Yeah,
agreed to
the
marry
childhood
as a
best
kid.
friend, Destiny, epic Destiny.
And then there's literally a chapter where he rewrites a storybook because he doesn't agree with the ending. uh, no, where it's like I think the one that people always cite is the baseball one, where she's about to confess that a baseball flies through the window, and then she's like, "Never mind." And it's like, "Hey, idiots! If she was actually dead set on it, she could just say it after the baseball thing happened. Like it's not like the baseball stopped her." Because right after the baseball happens and they talk and Raku leaves, she says, "I'm okay with things staying like this a bit longer." She's content with the way things are, and that's the problem.
Yeah, and also like later on, like sometimes her motivation for not confessing will change. Like after she realizes, oh, Shitoge also likes Nichijou, so if I confess, that would
Right?
like step on all, so that would step on her feelings, and then it would be like a weird triangle between the three of us, and I don't want that, so I want to avoid that if I can.
Yeah.
Like she tries to avoid a real attempt at love and an
Also, it's
attempt to not to hurt other
Ichijo, not
people.
Nichijou, you dork.
Sorry, I get confused.
I know.
Yeah.
Because you kept saying Nichijou, and I was like, isn't that the fucking robot girl? Okay, no, so there's that, and then, well, oh, and then the third one is that the only appeal of the show is pining for your best girl to win.
That's just
Who's your favorite girl during the manga?
Marika was the funniest.
She was my favorite too, except Puff, and I'm sure you agree with me on this. She was obviously never going to end up with Raku.
No, no, no.
Obviously.
Dude, this is why Nisekoi is a bad story. He doesn't believe in hard work versus natural talent.
Oh, she
Marika
does
works
deserve
harder than
more than
everyone.
Onodera, at least. Onodera didn't
Marika
try for
deserved
shit.
it more than anyone. She had the strongest motivation of the three. She put
Mhm.
in the most work. She of the three. She started at the lowest place of the three. Like, come on, boys. I
Yeah.
can't believe it.
No, it's just like Marika was my favorite, and I was never pining for her to win because I knew she obviously wouldn't. She was my favorite because she was funny and I liked her conflict. And then
Yeah.
it's like, because it's like, listen, first of all, Shitoge is obviously going to win from chapter one if you're smart. And then the only other one you could remotely delude yourself into thinking stood a chance was Onodera.
Yeah. Like either one of those two, because like they have the whole like chapter
And
one
then even then,
thing.
Shitoge was like, the obvious one.
I know, like if you read like a full volume Nisekoi and you didn't think one of those two was gonna win, then you're just kind of an idiot, I think.
Yeah, I mean, look at the first volume and then look at the last volume.
Like that doesn't mean Marika's like useless as a character or anything.
No,
Obviously
I like
not.
Mariko. Yeah, well, no, that thinking like that would be comedically
I
sexist.
know
A
it would be
female character's worth is only by their likelihood of getting dick. No, that'd
no,
be
no, dude,
terrible if
she's
someone
cool because
thought
like
like that.
the whole like past and present and like future theme. Nisekoi Marika is a girl with no future basically, so she lives in the present more than any of them, which is why she tries the hardest and all
Yeah,
that.
but I think we can use that to stop talking about Nisekoi and just say, for kind of spoiled you. Sorry, champ. You should read it because it's very good. Um,
I think it's all right, but he thinks it's very
I
good.
think it's very good. Okay, if you don't like the day-to-day shenanigans, you'll think it's all right. If you like the day-to-day shenanigans, you'll think it's very good.
Yeah.
And then no, because another thing that you brought up is the whole just like the romance harem thing and how a lot of people don't seem to like get the vibes because they act like it's always like a horse race with your favorite girl.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's only, or like favorite guy if it's reverse harem. And I feel like that's only true like half the time. Because you
Or
know
like
what my
not even
second
half the time, I don't think.
do you know what I think my second favorite harem manga is?
Quintessential
I
quintuplets.
think it's Ranma. And Ranma, just
Oh.
like Nisekoi, you're a dumbass if you can't tell who's gonna win. You're stupid. Like
Hmm.
all the other girls in Ranma are like funny, basically just obstacles that just get in the way. Like Shampoo is just like this annoying little shit that just shows up to try and kill people, and she's great. Whereas like quintuplets is an example of one where yeah, quintuplets down to the fucking wire. I didn't know who the hell was gonna win
I know, because at first you think it's Itsuki, but like, because
because
she has like
she's
the
like the
main
first
girl
one we
vibes, like
meet,
the first one who's
and
nice to the main character. She has like
yeah,
the long hair, which is like the main girl look, kind of.
first one. No, literally her main girl vibes are she's the first one we meet, so she's on the first volume, and she's in the middle whenever there's a lineup.
Yeah, so at first you think it's her, but like as the story goes on, she loses the main girl vibes, and then it's kind of
And
just
literally, like when she and him hang out, it's like never, it's almost never about how much she likes him. Like she talks about her career like a fuck ton.
yeah. Like who was gonna win? Like I didn't even guess who was until like the final couple volumes, I think.
I didn't even fucking bother by the end. I was like, I don't fucking know. I'll just read it. And guess what? It also wasn't my favorite girl, and I wasn't grumpy because guess what? She didn't win, but she's still my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, like just because
I guess
Natsuki,
I
I
could
think
be
her name
vague with
was.
this one and not say who wins. I guess all we vote is that Itsuki doesn't.
Yeah, no, Itsuki doesn't win, unfortunately. Poor girl. Uh,
Yeah, she's fine though. She has a successful career.
yeah.
Good for her. So yeah, it's just a thing of like whether a harem is actually trying to get you to like hope a girl wins or not is like very up in the air. Also, some harems do just dead ass say fuck it, let's do polygamy. Who cares?
Yeah, or like you have something like Bakemonogatari, which would just be like, all right, we have the OTP like established very early on, and then main boy will just kind of be a scumbo and mess around with some other girls sometimes.
Right. Which is like him learning to not fucking suck.
Yeah.
Um, that was
Uh,
fun. Then what was our next topic?
we're gonna get to the comments you got now.
Nice.
This is actually directed at you because you brought up Rent a Girlfriend.
Because I like it. All
All right,
right.
so
So
Shiki,
here's the
I have not read Rent a Girlfriend, but I've heard a lot of things. What do you think about it?
Okay, so here's the thing about Under Girlfriend. Criticisms that people bring up. Ooga Booga, they're taking forever to get together. They are, but I really don't mind at all because like the growth of their relationship always feels good, and whenever there's a major jump, it's tied to like a huge moment, and I really like when that happens. Two, people are like, dude, look at the main character doing this weird dork ass thing. What a stupid manga. And it's like, no, that's the joke, you fucking idiots. Like the famous scene of him having a panic attack boner in the pool because he's worried he's gonna get cucked. That's hilarious, and that's the fucking joke. Like
Like
literally, chapter one of Rent a Girlfriend. The first, like, I think it might be like even too over the top in the early volumes. The biggest joke is that the main character sucks and is lame, and
like
that
like
everyone hates him.
like when I heard about that pool scene, I was just like, that sounds so funny. That
No,
sounds
it's
so
funny. No, because here's
outrageous.
the thing.
Sounds like a fun manga.
No, he's so insecure that whenever he gets like slightly rejected or even thinks he's going to get rejected or even thinks there's a chance he'll get rejected, he immediately starts having panic attacks about getting cucked. And then later, once he grows as like a person, he almost gets one and then he has to stop and like Buddha Zen and be like, be normal. That's a weird way to react.
Yeah.
When that happens, you're like, oh my god, he's growing, he's becoming a person, and it's not like, oh, he's such a piece of shit. Why would I ever want him to win? He's not a bad person outside of the fact that he is blindingly insecure.
Yeah, like if I'm the outside looking in, like I remember, like it's called Rent a Girlfriend because the main girl like is not basically just like, hey, you give me money, then I go on a date with you, right? So
Yeah,
like
it's like a
softest
vibe.
prostitution you can ever imagine.
It's not even
Yeah, no,
prostitution.
that's a softest version of that you can ever imagine. So basically, if the idea is that like that's the girl he likes, then he's gonna probably imagine like that she spends time with a ton of other guys, and that maybe
Oh
like he'll
yeah,
feel like
that bums him the fuck
maybe
out.
he feels like he compares himself to all the people that she might like go out with or have gone out
Oh,
with in the
he
past.
absolutely has that. No, like when he wants to ask her on a real date, that horrifies him because he's like, but she's been on so many S tier fake dates. I feel like such a piece of shit
Yeah,
for
yeah.
asking her on a real one, and it's great and it's awesome.
Yeah, like
Also,
just like I could just imagine a scene where it's just like, hey, want to go on a date, and then like all he can afford is like a McDonald's, and then like he's like, oh,
oh,
but
he is.
she's
No,
probably
no,
been to like a 5-star restaurant with some rich
no.
dude. Oh
That would
no.
be funny. The funny thing is, she probably wouldn't judge him for that because they are both broke college students who are
Oh.
neighbors in the same broke ass flat.
Ah,
Like
okay.
they understand that they're both poor as shit.
Yeah. So
No,
like
and
again,
then like
like I guess the thing is just like if you think degeneracy is a thing you don't want in your media, is like that's cool, that's
even
fine.
then, like his arc is literally growing to not be such a degenerate that he can't socialize.
Yeah, but basically, if you don't like that in your media, you don't like that. That's
Right.
fine. It's kind of just like I don't like Berserk because it's too gory. Like that's fine. Like there's
Right, and
stories for
like that's
that, and then there's
completely
stories
valid.
that are
Oh
not
no,
that.
if you can't handle how much of a fucking loser he is, that's completely fair. But I love how much of a loser he is because I like laughing at it because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And then I like seeing him grow to not suck. Like, one criticism that people make that I do think is valid is every fucking time the girls are in public, five random strangers are like, "Oh my god, is that a hot lady?" And it is very distracting. It is weird. Otherwise, no, I like it. I like the blonde girl who's so comedically evil and petty. She's like Puff. She's as bad as like Lila from Miraculous. She is a freak,
Ooh,
and I
wow.
love her for it. I love her for it. And then there's everyone's favorite girl is like a shy one who's scared to talk. And she's like, "Ooh, Kurt coming out of my shell." And then the best girl is the fucking gremlin. They get a neighbor, and she's like a cosplay YouTuber, and she's a
Ooh.
fucking gremlin and a half.
Ooh,
She's
that
actually
sounds
not a
fun.
love interest. She doesn't give two shits about thinking the main character's hot, but she hears about his stupid backstory, and she's
Oh,
like, "That's
right.
the sickest thing I've ever heard. I'm gonna be your wingman because that's hilarious." I
Okay,
love her. She's so funny.
that reminds me of one thing you told me. Like I remember, like in all the marketing, right? It seems like all they're all kind of presented as like love interests, right? Like it's like
Right.
five girls or whatever, and like that blonde one who's supposed to be like his ex or whatever. Like I think you told me once that like she barely gets any time compared to the other girls, at least like at first.
No, she will show up randomly, be an absolute menace for like 5 chapters, and then vanish. Because she's not part of the main cast very often because she fucking hates the guy most of the time for fair reasons. He is pathetic. So she's not there very often because she doesn't like the main character. And then High School Girl is probably the least fun, but she's still funny because she guilt tripped him into dating her because he's a soy loser. And
Mm.
then literally he's like, whenever people are like, "Why are you dating that high schooler?" He's like, "I don't want to." Help me. And they're like, "Just break up with her, pussy." And he's like, "But I'm scared to."
Oh no, poor guy.
So yeah, he is just like an absolute loser learning to become like enough of a good person. And the thing is, like, he does have redeeming traits. Like, he goes to an aquarium on one of his first rental dates, and it's like, "Oh, I wonder why he did that." And then we learn that he has a pet. What the some type of cool fucking fish. And the fish has the amazing job of whenever he's feeling down and talking to himself, we'll cut to the fish just insulting him for like 2 panels, and he can't hear the fish. But we just know that even his fish hates him and thinks he's pathetic.
That's
And we
cool.
learn like, oh, here are his passions. He's in school for financing and marketing. So when main girl who likes acting needs like help financing her like movie that she's a part of, he's like, oh, I can help with that. Obviously, I'm a smart boy who's in college. And then he's like, he'll nerd out about fish for 20 minutes, and then the main girl will be like, oh my god, he's being normal. This is so nice.
uh, all right. Speaking of absolute losers, apparently we in one of these comments, someone also said Kaguya fell off in its final volumes, and
Apparently, a lot of people think that. Oh, funny is I don't even know like when did the fall off start? Like what? Like when? Like when
like
she got kidnapped?
I can
Question mark.
like
When Bully
all right.
fucker Mikado showed up? Is that his name?
All right, what I'm imagining is that like maybe when you think like it starts being more about like the plot of Kaguya's family and less about like one chapter gag events like maybe like in that case like if you just preferred like that part of the story more so than the part about Kaguya's family,
Right.
which like sure fair, like I also love laughing a lot, and some of the chapters in that section like aren't as funny because like they're a lot more serious or dramatic, even if they end
Right.
with a great punchline or whatever. uh so like
But I
sure
think it's
fair.
still peak because it's like I love all these
It is.
characters. They have earned their fake action where Hisaka does a cool skateboard trick and then Chica's like, I want to
I love
suck this woman's face.
that. Was...
Earned.
Dude, she
Earned
rolled
moment.
around at the speed of sound. And it was so funny too. Like I remember, like they're at that final moment with like the brother, and it seems like the brother's helping us out. Then she's like, you know what? Like fucking get her. And then Kaguya, run, run, run.
I know it's all very funny. No, it's a basically Kaguya is
It's the
my
best manga ever
favorite romance
made.
manga. Kaguya is probably my favorite romance manga of all time. It's
It's so
fucking
funny.
phenomenal. You should absolutely read it.
Like it might be the manga that like makes me laugh more than any other, even more than One Piece. I think
Oh,
every
Kaguya's
chapter is
so
so funny.
fucking funny,
It's
and I think
so
part of the reason
funny.
it's so funny is that when it does like life advice, it like actually hits you on something.
Oh, it does. Like the whole conceit of the thing is like, all right, don't like look up top 10 ways to get a boyfriend, then like try and go off that. Try
Mhm.
and talk to people
No,
instead.
or it's like one of the reason Ishigami's great is because half of his jokes are like, and here's the virgin making the classic virgin error, and when you see what he did, you're like, I was that cringe in high school. You bet I was.
But then sometimes he'll have good advice like, "Hey, Discord's a good app. Let's use it." And then like
That's such a funny fucking like app chapter where he's just trying to harass his IRL friends into downloading Discord.
but it actually kind of works because Eno ends up getting it and then like playing
Dude, and
online
then
games
she's
it
a
gets into.
gamer.
Yeah.
No, no, Kagi is great. It's very funny. It's my favorite romance.
It's so good.
Did we
It's
have any
so
other
good.
comments?
I think it was just those two that they talked about.
Nice. All right. In that case, what did you want to do now? Just recommend good rom-coms?
No, there's still more
No,
like
bitch about We Never Learn.
no, we're gonna say that for the end. We're just
Can't
talking
wait.
about is harem wish fulfillment a bad thing?
When it's done poorly, just like anything else in a story.
Like if it feels like I know that there's some anime out there that's like literally just like a girl talking into a screen to the viewer and stuff like that. Like maybe that's pandering too much. Uh, I don't
And
even know what to
no,
say.
I
That
guess that's
does
just
seem
my
really
thing
pandering
with
too
like
much.
anything. Is like all series where like a character does cool shit does have like a level of wish fulfillment, and it's
Yeah,
just like
always.
how much is too much for you, and do you think it's even done well when it's done?
Yeah,
And that's it. That's how it applies to everything. That applies to battle shonen. That
it
applies to
does.
gritty. That applies to gritty revenge porn seinen.
Dude, I wish
That's a
that
thing.
Luffy
That's
could would
like
jump into
do people?
Toronto and fix the housing
Yeah.
crisis by punching the bad
No,
guy. I
no, like
wish that
that's
would
the thing
happen.
where it's like people also like are like ignore tons of types of because the people who bitch about wish fulfillment will also read like tons of very gritty seinen about like a cool, edgy, morally ambiguous guy killing all the people who are bad, and it's like you're that's not wish fulfillment, you fucking jackass.
Yeah, like I remember that some of them are so mean spirited, and I could kind of respect them for being mean
Oh,
spirited, but
the one
also
that
like
I
I
can't
don't
is
enjoy it if
I've
it's too mean
complained about it
spirited.
before. Jujika said it right this time. Jujika no Rokunin. That one is like too revenge porny, even for like not even for I don't like revenge porn at all. But that one is so bad I can't even like read it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like to bring this about to like rom coms and harems, like if we're gonna talk about like Nisekoi, like is it a bad thing that Nisekoi has like five girls all fighting over this one guy's dick?
Not
Like
particularly.
I guess
I think the easiest way to lose people is just like the very subjective stance of, do you think it's valid that they like him?
Yeah, well, the things I was actually gonna say like most valuable is maybe if you want to like talk about like maybe some sort of like internalized sexism in that premise or
Oh,
whatever.
that is
But
also
like that's a
obviously a
whole other
problem.
argument than wish fulfillment. That's a whole other ball game now.
Yeah. No, I no the thing no the reason I like the metric of does it feel like them being liked is earned is because it applies to reverse harems too, where it's just like, does it make sense that everyone wants this main character so bad? And it's like with Raku, people say no. I think it does.
Like the like
He's a charming lad. He's good at cooking. He's good at fishing. His family is the fucking yakuza. That's
the thing
cool.
is, if he was just a nice guy, I wouldn't get it. But he can also cook really well. I'm like, okay, I get it. I
Mhm.
get it. Yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah.
an immediately anyone could cook gets a full letter grade on
Mhm.
a spousal
Yeah. No, it's
rating.
like I think a funny one, Puff, is like Toradora is giant air quotes technically a harem, but not really. But if Ryuji had like five women after him, you wouldn't be surprised. Look at this man. This man is awesome.
uh,
No, because like I do think that is like what makes or break it for a lot of people. Just does it feel like it makes sense that everyone likes the main character? And if you think it doesn't make sense, then yeah, it's probably going to be very hard for you to take what's happening seriously.
I think I remember this. I forget who said this, but I think someone said that shonen anime does the harem thing better than all other harem anime because they make their main characters like these actual like hardworking badass hero dudes, and so that makes more sense
They're
than.
right in the sense that it's believable that people like them, but they're wrong in the sense that most battle shonen don't do anything interesting with their romance.
Yeah,
And we're
like
the only ones that does is seven deadly sins. God damn it.
yeah, okay, so I guess the whole I think there's all right, but like in a high school setting like Nisekoi, what can you make Ichijo that would make him like the equivalent of like a badass like
Yeah,
shonen
what do you want
hero?
him to be like a jock Chad Omega guy? Because the thing is, like, a lot of girls don't like those types of guys because usually they're like really annoying, and if it's high school, probably really sexist.
And also like the whole art style of Nisekoi is like pretty soft. Like even like the most hard badass like muscular dudes aren't like ginormous. So
No,
like you
like
can't really have
the
that.
chaddest guy we get is like Klaus, and
Yeah,
he's just like a pretty tall American.
he is. I would.
He's
Dude, I
a
remember that one
tall
chapter where it
American.
was revealed he was a bodybuilder and he had his measurements be the secret code for his briefcase.
Oh, I fuck with that. That's awesome.
That is cool. He's a king. I love him.
Yeah, or it's just like yeah, it basically I think they can be jarring enough that like it's a lot easier for people to dislike them. And that's fine. Like one rom-com that people love that I can't fucking stand is what's it called? It's about the manga author and the Paris girl.
Uh, yeah, I don't know what that is.
No, Paris girl is such a mean
Paris
fucking
girl.
sentence.
Did
No, if
you
you
mean
saw her,
French
you get
lady?
what I meant.
French lady? Was that what you mean?
No, no, like the no Paris, like the Pokemon.
Oh, like a
No,
mushroom?
she
She's
looks
a
like a
mushroom.
Nozaki-kun.
Oh, okay.
Put
I've heard of that.
but then please, Pav, I will harass you to do this when you actually edit. Please put the main girl from Nozaki on screen. Also, the Paris girl joke. I'm like 99% sure I stole that from Kraftsdorf because I've heard it before, and I assume it was him because he's funny. But wherever I heard it, she looks like a Paris, and it's funny. Uh, no, I can't stand Nozaki. I don't like that show.
Yeah, okay.
Is there anything wrong with it? No. Well, there's nothing like awful about it. There's stuff I don't like, but it's not like oh Nozaki, that stupid fucking show. It's just like I don't fuck with it.
Yeah. So anyway,
But the
again,
couple of
like
cuckoos, I tried a couple of cuckoos. I'm not keeping up with that.
oh yeah, so I guess like to summarize, wish fulfillment, not bad. Watching Luffy punch a corrupt government official is just as much wish fulfillment as a guy falling in love with a girl or like
You know,
three
there's a
girls getting
reason
in
that
love
a
with a
lot of
guy.
people's favorite One Piece scene is him punching Sharlos.
Yeah,
That's just wish fulfillment.
it is wish fulfillment on like quite a few levels. Like it's very cool for the story and the themes and the characters involved and all that,
Yeah,
and
but
that's
then
great.
also it's like very satisfying, not just because you're punching a racist, but because you're revenge punching a
Yeah,
racist. And like the anime made it more wish fulfillment where like Luffy like unnecessarily does like the cool guy dodge against the two bullet shots before he punches him. You're like, oh, look how cool he is.
yeah, or like even just like the conceit of being a pirate and going out to sea and like going traveling the world and stuff like that. You
Right.
could say there's a wish fulfillment aspect there. Like it's just like it feels like a dirty word you can just like use to like make anything sound like lesser or like whatever like or like
Right.
yeah. So anyway, now that that's over with, dude, I know I said Seven Deadly Sins is terrible because age is just a number, but Ancient Magus Bride is great because age is
My
just a
God, I
number.
don't care.
Okay,
Yes, yes,
okay.
because it's a weird magical fantasy with weird shit. It can
No,
get away with a lot more,
no, like
obviously.
basically just summarize. It's like what I said. A 10,000-year-old vampire sugar daddy is not quite the same as what Seven Deadly Sins does. And
Right.
B, the fact that he's a lot older is actually like used to add to like the drama. Like how much she can trust the guy is like actually like a thing in season one that comes up a few times, and that's kind of interesting just for the story, and that's cool.
Right.
Whatever. Okay, so then now with that out of the way, I made the Shoujo bingo card that I really like, and I keep using it on my media thread.
Yeah, you sure do like it.
It's so great. I love
Yeah,
it so
I
much.
know. I helped you make it. I was there.
I know, and
I
I
helped you add
remember.
the hardest card.
I know, and I remember, like, when I first made this thing, we spent like 2 hours in call talking
We
about
went
like,
through so many fucking shows. It was a
yeah, like
slow night.
Naruto, Bleach, like a
Going through the
bunch of
big three
battle
was
shonen.
funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
We just
no,
pretended
it's
Naruto and
no, it's
Sasuke
so
and just
also
applied that to
like the
this.
beauty of the Shoujo bingo card is that It's usually a lot funnier to apply to non-shoujo.
It is because like then just like making it sound like because like a lot of old shoujo will have like these weird particular things
Hmm.
men are biologically inclined to rape, like they'll say something, ah, men just have to sow their wild oats or whatever,
Yeah,
and
no,
then like
that's a thing in a lot of like mid early 2000s, late 90s shoujo. At least once you will have some male character be like, "Oh yeah, the male urge, that well-known unstoppable thing. Yeah, look out for that." And it's like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
yeah, or like barely any backgrounds where like a lot of shoujo from will also just like have like a bunch of sparkles or like bubbles or whatever in the
Hell
background
yeah,
and,
it's
instead of like
peak.
an actual background. Yeah.
Uh, do we complain about We Never Learn? Or is there another thing?
Uh, no. Now we can talk about We Never Learn and how it's
Okay,
the
here's a
greatest
bad
ending to
harem.
anything
We
ever.
Never Learn fucking sucks. Not
Ay
just
ay
because,
ay.
first of all, Puff, this is one where we agree that the day-to-day shenanigans is awful.
Like I wouldn't say awful. Like
It can
it's
be awful. I think
it's
stupid. I think Board Game Girl is like consistently painful.
yeah, okay, that's true. But like I feel like it starts out like I remember in the first volume. There's a lot of stuff I like with like Math Girl and her
Well, that's
like
just because it's like
inability.
a characterization that's like worthwhile. That's the thing about Nisekoi. None of the chapters feel fillery because it's usually like worthwhile characterization or character growth.
Yeah.
We Never Learn is actually just like a bunch of nonsense chapters after a certain point.
Yeah, I know it fucking is, man. But like I remember the first volume felt like really good. Like when I was first starting, like first couple of volumes. Like
Hmm.
okay, Math Girl and her inability to do anything but math is very funny. Like
But
she wants to be a writer but doesn't under but when she's asked the question like what is the character feeling in this moment, she's like, oh, how does it know? The text doesn't say. I can't read between the lines.
which is funny, and then it's the opposite with science with the other girl, and it's funny. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, or like how they introduced the teacher and how like she had like this talent for skating and like but she didn't like
Uh,
pursue that career path and
or
now
like
she
how
regrets it.
I really like Asumi. I think she's great.
Yeah,
I think the best arc in the whole manga is just the one where her dad tries to shut down the hospital and she just wants to cry, and it's like I feel so bad for her.
yeah, and I remember one chapter I like from the beginning is like it was like one is I think this is Swim Girl's like first chapter.
Right.
Like it's like Swim Girl's like, oh, all I want to do is swim all day. Fuck math, and then it's like, all right, to teach you math, we're gonna just do games in the pool that are math related, and then that'll
Hell
get
yeah.
you like started on that. And I thought, oh, that's a fun way, to use your premise. Seems pretty cool, Leo. Uh,
Hmm.
but like it just
But
stops
I no
being
Puff, but
great at a point.
I think all the slice of life things with it also kind of tie like the parts of it that I don't like also kind of tie into why the ending sucks, which is no matter what happens in the slice of lifey, one thing that almost never happens and happens even less towards the end is any sign of romantic progression.
Yes, oh my god. Because like the
And
thing
it's
is,
like, hmm.
okay, so like with like something like Nisekoi, and you know who's gonna win, and they like develop who's gonna win and why, and then like why this girl's not right, why this girl's not right,
Yeah.
and why Shitoge is number one, or like with quintessential quintuplets where like it's up in the air, but still the
And all the
relationships,
girls get like romantic development.
yeah, they all get
And
romantic
also
development.
just like the actual slice of life with the girls is way more meaningful. Like it's them like pursuing their passions most of the time. Like it's actress girl getting into acting. It's Nino learning how to fucking bake. It's
Yeah,
Itsuki becoming a teacher. All that shit's good.
yeah, and then
It's
but
I
like
like Asumi so much because it's her pursuing a fucking thing she cares about.
yes, but like with We Never Learn, they never like they get to like a point and then just stop. Like I don't know what
It's
exactly the
like,
cutoff
oh,
point
they
would be.
kissed once in an unintentional way. We have reached peak romance, boys.
Yeah, and then the ending is like what 5 or 6 volumes of
No,
just
okay, can oh no, let me explain my experience because I was reading this fucker weekly.
all right. Yeah, you
So the
probably you
ending
I can only
first.
imagine what that was like reading
It was
weekly,
the
man.
craziest thing of all time because I was going through the ending and I was having fun, and I was like, I don't know who's gonna win because they haven't set it up clearly, right?
Yeah,
And then Swimmer Girl won, and I was like, you know what? She's like the childhood friend. She was the closest with him. She's the one who puts him out of his comfort zone the most. I guess that makes sense. And then like it ended, and it was like, oh, the other girls didn't get like satisfying conclusions. That's kind of weird, but like whatever. I'm glad he picked a girl. And then at the end, they say, route one of five, and I was like, what the fuck did that just say? What the fuck? And then next week
oh my
happens, and
god.
we go back in time. I was like, why'd we go back in time? And then it's like, oh, we're focusing on this girl now. And then you're like, oh no, they're pretending this is a visual novel. This is not Clanat. You don't get with every girl, you stupid series. Fucking pick one.
Okay, the thing I was so like I was prepared for this going in because I knew what the ending was. So like when I saw Route like 1 out of 5, I was like, okay, I'm here now. This is where it begins. But like
No,
I
I
imagine
think that
for
is
you
actually
because you
the most
didn't know because you had
shocking.
no idea. You just saw like what the fuck does 1 out of 5 mean?
No, no, I immediately realized what it meant, and I was like, oh, fuck. You
Like
gotta be shitting me. Also, no, and then, shocker, even among all the routes, a lot of them aren't even that good.
like I feel like the best way to get this would be the hot teacher character.
Okay,
Uh,
the hot teacher is great because, she's a creepy pedophile. That's fun.
Yeah, like, but the thing is, like, she's she's the hot teacher. She was my favorite because she was hot, and I was getting
She
bored
is
reading this
very
manga.
hot.
But like, the thing is, like, it kind of ties back like the you can't have too much romantic progression with her, like inherently, because like again,
It's
like age
creepy,
gap,
and
it's
she
creepy.
admits it's creepy
Yeah,
regularly.
so like throughout this whole manga, they can never get like really that far with it. Like there'll be like a one-off chapter where like she cosplays as a magical girl,
No,
and it's
we've
a
reached
little
the point where
embarrassing, and that's
90%
it.
of chapters with her are he comes to her house to help her with something, which is already very unprofessional, and then she falls on him with her fat ass and sits on his face. And
Yeah,
that's like
yeah, that's it.
actually
Like just
like 80% of her chapters.
yeah, so like again, like they can only take it so far with her, and then they just don't do anything, and then suddenly for this ending, every girl needs to get one.
Five
So
skip
now
and it's like,
you're
whoa.
making it happen. You're making age just a number.
No, and the thing is, like, the idea of a series that shows every possible romantic ending and then ending with a chapter that's like, oh, our lives could go anywhere, that could work if the series built towards that in any interesting way when it really didn't.
Yeah, I guess like to be
The idea is like, oh, they were striving to get grades outside, to go to fields outside of what was expected of them, but the ending wasn't, oh, they
wait, hold
got
on for a sec.
romances outside of. I am holding.
All right, what were you saying?
Uh, What the fuck was I
You're
talking
you're in
about?
the middle of talking about the pedophile teacher and her
Okay.
ending.
Oh, where we like time jump to the future and she's there.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious, first of all. And then they kind of just address it like, oh, that was so problematic back in the day, but it's not anymore. It's
Uh,
like, okay.
uh,
Also, just like their dynamic isn't interesting because it's like, oh, he inspired her to not be a shit teacher anymore. And it's like, okay, why should they fuck?
and like the thing is, like I don't want to go on it too hard because like in one of my favorite romance stories, My Monster Secret, one of the side characters does get with the teacher, like he's in high
You know,
school,
obviously creepy things can happen. Like
but
when we
like
start recommending things, I'm going to recommend a series that is very beloved and very problematic.
they kept the teacher's age ambiguous, so you could headcanon her as like 22, and also like I forget, maybe I'm making this up, but like I think they implied that like because the kid was a punk and not in school, that he was actually held back a couple grades. Because
Oh,
like that's basically his backstory with the teacher, is that the teacher beat him the fuck up because he tried to mug her with his gang, and then said, hey,
nice,
what's a kid like you doing, you get back in school, and then like he's like, wow, I should clean up my life, and
nice.
then
That's
it happens.
funny.
Yeah.
I think
It's peak, it's actually peak. I love
no.
that volume
Also,
so
well, the
much.
problem is it does the seven deadly sins thing where it acknowledges that the relationship is weird, but then it does it
Yeah, at least with
anyway.
My Monster Secret, it's like, all right, nothing's gonna happen until he graduates. Okay, they're putting it on hold, on freeze. Nothing's gonna happen. Okay, and then I guess it's kind of the same for We Never Learn. But you know,
Weird.
yeah. It's so like
But
the thing
also,
is,
like if you wanted to be bad faith, you could be like, wow, a teacher that invited a student into her house regularly to clean for her ended up marrying him in the future. That's weird.
yeah, you know, you could, and just
uh,
like
no,
I guess like one big thing that I remember when this came out, a lot of people were just like, dude, what's wrong with the visual novel style ending where literally any girl can win, dude? Come on, I thought this was
because that
this
comes,
addresses one of the big
yeah,
criticisms
it
of the
literally comes from
genre.
a misunderstanding of how harems work.
I know, it's just like, dude, we can best girl can finally win because all girls win. What's wrong with that? It's like, okay, a like in a visual novel, like an actual one, where like the player choices like actually matter. Like you're actually like kind of inserting into the main character a lot more because a it's told like you
Right.
get like their internal monologue a lot in most of them, and b your choices can actually like influence what they do and all that. So like that makes sense
Also,
that
it's
like
just a
your
different
choices would change
fucking
stuff.
medium.
Yeah, that's the idea. Is that like the fact that player choice becomes a thing just like changes the whole ball game. Okay, and B, it's just like, all right, I don't want to actually like commit to an ending for my story, so I'm just going to write six of them in hopes
No,
that
that's
no one
literally
will be
what it.
mad.
Because the
It's
thing about
so
Harem,
cowardly.
no, and do you know what makes it even worse?
What?
They were the assistant to the Nisekoi author. The Nisekoi author, who is
Oh, that
pretty
hurts.
much
I
the
didn't know that.
D.
Oh,
That's not
oh,
annoying. That's so
ah.
annoying.
Jeez, I can see it now in my head, just being like, okay, Nisekoi makes his ending. It's like, no, Tradwife should have won. Why didn't Tradwife win? And then he's like, I'm gonna make the ending where all girls win. And it's just like,
No,
no,
that's, that's just
don't.
author
That's a
fanfic. We
super
don't.
villain. I know that is,
That's
but
just author fanfic. We don't know
that
what they did, but
I
it
don't know
is
what's
like
happening.
infuriating to be like, how did you pick the most cowardly option when you were the assistant under the person who made a strong call that pissed off a bunch of people?
Yeah, just
No, it's disappointing.
yikes. Yeah, it is.
So yeah,
Like, well, I mean,
now
I guess technically not disappointing because I didn't like We Never Learned. I literally only read it because I heard of how bad it was.
yeah, from me.
Yeah, from my morbid curiosity. So I get, but like for people reading weekly, or like it must have been like a wild fucking roller coaster of
Mhm.
shame and disappointment.
Right.
Yeah,
So I guess next is just
yeah. Just recommending different shojo and romance works.
sweet.
Uh,
All right. I will recommend my second favorite romance first, which is a series you also like, but not as much as me. Read Bloom Into You. Holy shit.
Bloom. Oh, I really like Bloom Into You. Bloom Into You is really good. I like
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah. Read Bloom Into You. It's great. Uh,
it's kind of shortish, really well made.
comedically horny gay women.
Yes,
They are so. Also, it's a shonen, which is hysterical.
that is hysterical.
You should read Bloom Into You. It's really great. It touches on some cool subjects like aromantism. That's a fun thing that you don't get mentioned very often.
Yeah. Or like even just like a like this is something I don't see too often in like stories about romance. Is this like, all right, if someone says they love me, am I not allowed to change anymore because they love the me now? What happens if I change in the future down the road? Am I not allowed to like
Also,
change?
just the manga has insanely good use of negative space.
Oh, it does. I
Holy
that
shit.
boardwalk scene where they're like on those like boards on the river or whatever. Like I.
Oh, that's so good. Fuck. Okay, yeah. You should read Bloom Into You. It's great.
Yeah.
What's your recommendation, Puff? Your
I
next
have
one.
I have a list here. The
No,
Vision
I
of
do too. We could take
Yeah,
turns,
yeah.
dog.
The Vision of Escaflowne was an anime me and Shiki watched together.
We got it by asking an AI to recommend us a random good isekai, and then it said, "Dude, watch this mecha fantasy isekai from the '90s." And then we looked up one clip, and we're like, "This is the coolest thing
I
I've
know
ever seen."
it's animated very well. The characters are really cool. Story's just great in general.
And it's the S tier concept.
Yeah, like again, like isekai, but it's old, and because it's old, it's not like a epic RPG video game fantasy. It's
Oh
fucking mechs, dude. We got mechs, dude.
no, no, yeah, I don't think I'm sorry, but sword fighting knight mechas is so fuck. And then it turns into a dragon.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so cool. It's such a it's an innately cool concept. I found another mecha fantasy thing that I'm gonna watch because it's just great. It's a great genre. I love it. All right, my next one is this is a manga that I binged. It's ongoing. Oh no, ongoing warning. I
Uh-oh.
binged it pretty recently. The art is phenomenal, and I really like all the characters. It's very great. It's called The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. Crazy name. It's very good. You should read it. Do it. It's awesome. It's about a boy from like a bad boy school, and he's like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. Is it okay for me to like this cute nice girl? And the cute nice girl is like, I feel so bad for him. Why does he always look like he wants to kill himself? It's great. They are an amazing couple. I probably didn't sell it well, but you just read like two chapters and look at the fucking art, and you're gonna be like, holy shit.
Yeah. All right, I already recommend my Monster Series, so I'm going straight to my next one. Red River, or just Chai Shinohara's work in general, I like them all. They're very like corny old shoujo romance stuff, and it's great. Red River especially is my favorite because it's like the longest one. It's like Kingdom but for girls is how I would describe it. It's really cool, uh, and it has like without spoiling too much, I will say it has a rape scene that's as good if not better than Berserk's.
That's a very hilarious way to word that. My God.
Yes, that is and like I remember I almost made a video about it about the scene leading up to the rape scene, which is also really cool and good because this is like some Game of Thrones type shit where basically main boy like he's getting coronated as the
I
king.
love that like you've seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, like from what I hear
I
people
have.
describe Game of Thrones as, this is what
Yeah.
it sounds like to me. So it's like all right, so like main
So it's
boy.
like a political drama.
Yes, and so like
Okay.
he's about to get coronated as king today, and like uh, uh, fuck, I'm forgetting her name, but Rui's the main girl. Like she's technically right now his concubine. You know, he even though they're like
Wow.
together, they're like his one true love. That's the official title she has to have because even though like she's has the standing as like a general and like the incarnation of the goddess Ishtar and all that, she's still technically a commoner. So like only half the court is like cool with her like being the queen, but the other half's like, no, we know her, she's capable, and we need a capable queen, especially in the long run, because after the king fucking dies, the queen gets to retire and we own 1/3 of the court just goes to her, and like the one we have now is
For her.
fucking evil. So we need a good person in this for the long run, and we can trust Rui with that. But
Nice.
also, like, she's like, all right, but I got isekai into this time, so I want to go back, so I can't commit to this relationship too much.
Nice.
So if I appear to this coronation in a dress, that's basically an omission that I will be his concubine or his wife. And I frankly I can't do that. So she goes up there dressed up as the goddess Ishtar, like with a general uniform cape and all that. And instead of like being by his side, she instead bows to him and is saying I am one of your generals and all that, and that pisses him off so fucking much, man. He's like, okay, she's avoiding me, she's denying my feelings, even though we've kind of worked through
Nice.
this. What the fuck is going on? And that like leads up to the next rape scene, which is really fucking cool and good.
Neat.
Really good manga. I like it a lot.
Mhm.
It got 4 bingos on the Shoujo bingo card,
That is
which is
wild.
the most that any series has ever gone that I've found.
No. Oh, quick thing that I forgot to mention about Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. I'd say the most appealing thing about it is that like whenever a character feels any type of conflicted emotion, the story will be like, nope, we're exploring this. Fuck you. He felt slightly embarrassed about hanging out with her for 20 seconds, and we should just let that fly. Wrong, idiot. We're dissecting that. Why the fuck does he feel like that? And they do that for every character, side and main, just fully like exploring every single little personal gripe they have, and it's awesome. My next recommendation is like three from the same author. His name is Soichiro Yamamoto. He
Mm,
has made a bunch of series, and I like three out of the four.
nice.
He made Teasing Master Takagi, which is Kino.
Oh, it is Kino. It's cool.
It is just it is like my comfort series. It puts me in such good mood. It's so cute and happy. And then one that is like similar vibes, but they're playing shogi is When Will Ayumu Make His Move? And then third is the this one got axed, sadly, only 37 chapters. It's called Futatsuki no Kyoko-chan. I don't know what Futatsuki means. I can't like that's kind of vague when I look it up. Um, it's about this stupid little vampire girl and her older brother, and her older brother is like, I hate the fact that my sister's a fucking vampire. It's such a pain in the ass. And it's so wholesome. It's wholesome sibling vibes. And it's so nice. Because the thing is, like, early on, they address, like, is it incestuous? And he's like, no, fuck you. Fuck you. Because that's a joke. Because he, like, has to beat the shit out of people so they leave his sister alone. And he's like, haha, siscon, you want to fuck your sister? And he's like, I hate my life. Why does everyone think this? My life sucks. I'm doing it because she's a fucking vampire. This is the worst. And it's awesome. It's really funny. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And then I have one more off the top of my head. It is full title: The Story Between a Dumb Prefect
All
and
right,
a High
before you get
School
to that, do
Girl.
you remember my favorite video about teasing Master Takagi-san?
No,
Look at the
no.
sexy ass
Best guy ever's
silhouette. Look at the subtle
cringe because
sexuality there.
Ooh,
implying there's
Mamma
any
Mia!
implying there is any level of section. Okay, that's because he has a fourth series that's about ninja girls, and I don't like it because it's like it tries to be almost horny, which with his designs is like, stop it! What are you doing? Your designs are adorable little noodles. Leave them. And the fact
Noodles
that
with
this guy
alien
ever
heads. That's how I describe
no,
the design.
literally, it's just a bunch of cute little idiots. And the fact that best guy ever tried to apply any level of sexuality to it, I hate him. Stop. Uh, no, next is the story between a dumb prefect and a high school girl. It's just fun, stupid bullshit between a girl whose name is Poem and basically it's like Puff. Imagine like Ishimaru from Dangan,
Yeah.
trying to date just like a generic like rambunctious high school girl.
Hmm.
He,
I see it. I
it's
see it.
hilarious. It's so funny. Uh, so yeah, you got anything else, Puff?
I have three that I'll just rapid fire right now.
Nice,
Harcone is very horny and very fun.
nice,
Also, that's another thing about Red River. Red River is like the horniest manga I've ever read without being like explicit with anything.
hilarious.
Anyway, uh, freezing is if you want a battle shonen, but it's a yes. If you want a battle shonen that is also porn, read freezing. And then Makane and the Sea Woman just has like not even 20 chapters out yet. I don't think it's very new, recent stuff, and I just like the art style a lot. And it seems like the central conflict it seems to be pretty interesting and cool. Like about like a
Nice.
boy who lives in like a sea town or like a like off the coast island, and he kind of wants to leave and or like he's debating whether or not to leave and find more or not. And then he meets a mermaid, and that kind of like starts off the whole shebang. Yeah,
Nice. Oh,
yeah,
and then I have two more rom-com things. One is Shocker. Guys, you know how Fruits Basket is like beloved and old? Well, I
yes.
watched the remake that follows the manga, and Shocker, it's fucking great. Holy shit. No, that's what I mentioned where it is problematic because there is a lot of incest, a fuck ton. Holy shit. Like not
Mm.
like brother sister, but like in the same family type of thing, like big family thing. And then two, there is some like weird age gaps, but they don't bring them up, which is nice. But it's still weird. It's still weird. And but thankfully the age gaps are never like super important romances. It's like the side ones where it's kind of like, oh, what a wholesome ending, and you're like, get that off my screen. All right, back to the wholesome ending. uh, and I have one more rom com thing, which is we everyone knows what Comey is because Comey's beloved.
Yes.
I am of the spiciest take that I literally only give a shit about Comey because a girl who has been in like under 10, okay, no, she's been in over 10 chapters, who has only talked in under 10 chapters. fucking fucking and she
how
you know,
many
okay,
times have you
you know what we should do?
commissioned?
You know what we should do? You know what we should do?
What?
Put the image with her fucking sweatshirt on. We need to decode what it said.
Okay, yeah. If you have any ideas what this could mean, I think I had an idea for it.
It's either our four guesses are anti-fact, anti-pact, anti-past, or anti-fast.
I think anti-pact makes sense because in canon, like she's supposed to be like a sort of like a troll online who likes to make
She
people
is. She's
mad.
an
And
asshole.
anti-pact was like this abbreviation for like some like sort of like union between like Japan, and some European countries to be anti communist. So like
Right.
if she's like, oh, but all these fucking lefty communists on Twitter, I'm gonna fucking
Although
fucking
one
make
of
them
her,
mad
although
today.
one of her most iconic panels is her saying, "I won't forgive you lot, you democratic pigs." Um, no, the problem is that it's definitely an S. But the one that fits her character really well, also Puff, is anti-fact because she lies on the internet for fun. She's an asshole.
Yeah.
No, but you should read Comey because it's good and funny and wholesome. I've just brain rotted myself to only caring about one stupid side character.
Yeah. Okay, I guess like one more thing about like this is something people are like, oh, why don't they just confess early on or whatever? It's like, yeah, a series about people being in a relationship can be really cool and stuff, but like
Yeah.
if we're talking
Oh
about
wait, shit, Puff! You just reminded me. Read My Love Story. Holy shit, that's peak.
okay.
My Love
So
Story is one of my favorite
yeah,
manga
so like A,
ever.
there's plenty of manga like that, and B, in a lot of these series like about like dumb high schoolers being dumb high schoolers and trying to understand themselves, kind of makes sense that they wouldn't like say their feelings outright if they don't even understand them. Very obvious thing that will
No,
apply to a
I
lot of
guess
series
the
people
thing is
talk
like
about.
you prefer series about characters in relationships, that's fair. And if you don't like that there's not as many of those as you'd like, that's fair. But there's difference between that and complaining that a series that is clearly about something else isn't about the thing you want. Like that's a different thing. It's kind of the difference between being like
Having a criticism and then just like
yeah,
having
or
a
being like
grievance
I
with.
love tournament arcs. Tournament arcs are Kino, and then being like One Piece sucks because it doesn't have a tournament arc.
What, the quarter of the Coliseum, 1/4 of Dressrosa? Fuck that shit.
Yeah, or it's just like it's okay if you like stories that focus on that type of thing, but like just find ones that do that. You won't be spoiled because if they get into the relationship immediately, that's what you want, right? So just look up stories where relationship starts very early on.
Yeah, like we even brought some up like Bakemonogatari. Well, like I guess that's a weird example because like technically going by like the order of books, it's like uh that that tr- that trilogy of movies, and then it would be the Bakemonogatari. But like
Right.
but if we go by the anime order, it starts with Bakemonogatari, which is when like literally the first mini arc is about like main girl, main boy getting together. So yeah,
Right. Or like with My Love Story. They get together, I think, by like the end of chapter 3 or 2. And literally the whole point is everyone else around them being like, you two are a weird couple because it's like the most petite, cute girl ever. And then a high schooler who looks like he's 45 and a construction worker.
yeah. Or like
It's
again, like
peak.
yeah, or like Red River, like yeah, it takes like a few like I think like 3 volumes for them to actually like like officially like she officially becomes a concubine, they share a bed and all that. But like for the majority of the manga, they are just in a relationship, and like
Right.
whether or not she'll fully commit to it or return home is kind of up in the air. But like they are together. Whether or not they get pulled apart later on is a question that you have to read to find out.
Right. Well, I guess one more final, like non-spicy recommendation that you and I both agree with is you should watch Toradora.
Yeah, Toro is good. Like Toradora.
Toro's great. You should watch it. You'll like it a lot because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Woo!
Woohoo! Yay! Man.
Woo.
Woohoo! Yeah, cool.
Great. We talked about rom-coms. How
We
exciting.
did talk about rom coms. Can't believe this was spurred on by some guy calling Kaguya's ending fucking bad.
I like how that's literally inspired us where we saw that and we're like, we're like, what? I get it's because like we only ever talk about rom-coms in the cult, but
Yeah,
no, not rom-coms. We only ever talked about Kaguya and the cult because like I think almost all of us were reading it weekly after I harassed all of you into it. What's funny is I remember 2 episodes of the anime came out and I thought this is peak. I'm not waiting, and I read the whole thing immediately.
Oh,
And
you told
I
me you like binged the whole thing, then got depressed as soon as you finished because there was
no,
no more.
no, I didn't finish it. No, I got worried because I caught up right at the confession chapter, and I was like, "Oh fuck, is it over?" No, and then it wasn't, and I was like, "Who? We are good." And then it was so peak, I just bugged like I think 4 or 5 of you into catching up.
Yeah. All right. So I guess to end off, like, if you have like any comments or suggestions about like stuff for us to talk about, you can choose things that aren't One Piece related, and, like go to other genres like this, because then we might make another dumb video spin off like this one.
Yeah, or like Battle Shonen, as I always say. It's comment about a Battle Shonen you like. The odds are extremely high that both of, or at the very least, probably I have read them.
Yeah, like we're actually like considering maybe doing a Dragon Ball one, because sadly Toriyama passed away a few
So
days
like we
ago.
have a lot of memories that we want to talk
Yeah,
about
so
with
like
Dragon Ball.
yeah, I kind of want to like read Doctor Slump because I never got the chance to, and
And
then
I
read
reread
Dragon
Dragon
Ball.
Ball like 6 months ago, I think.
Yeah, so like I'd like to reread both of those back to back soon sometime. Then like afterwards, maybe we can like look through like a fucking Plague of Gripes video and try and find some stupid Gohan
I
take.
want to. Player Gripes is like so much worse than like anyone else we watch.
Yeah, okay, so again, like anyone, I guess, like, particularly if you have any bad Dragon Ball opinions, or, like, any cool things you wanted us to talk about Dragon Ball,
No, I think that's
Insta.
way more interesting. If you have a cool aspect of Dragon Ball that you think people don't talk about,
Yeah,
please
because,
mention that. Holy shit. Because
yeah,
no one
there's a
talks
lot of
about
that.
Dragon Ball in interesting ways. Except for, like, I don't know, like, Sadly, Set the Program is one of the only people who
Yeah, no,
did
I
Dragon
remember
Ball videos.
it took a sad amount of time for me to finally find a video that was just talking about like, hey, here's Goku's character arc from
And
the
it was
beginning of
fucking
Dragon Ball
Seth the
to the
Programmer.
yeah. Unfortunately, it was that guy.
No, I think that's when Set the Program was talking a lot with What the What and Kraftsdorf, and they like helped him make not helped him make it. I think they read over his script.
Yeah. So again, if there's anything like Dragon Ball, I feel like for something like Naruto, I feel like a lot of the good like ideas for like a video essay have been taken by a certain someone, Hot Boy Spicy. Oh fuck you, man! I was gonna make a
Uh,
Naruto video, but then you stole all the good topics.
which topic did you want to do that he's yoinked from you?
Oh my god! Like so many. Like I can't make a Pain video anymore. I can't make a Sasuke video anymore. I can't make a like. I considered making
Oh,
a
he
video.
does have the best Sasuke video
I
on
know.
YouTube by like a mile. It's
I know.
not fair.
But like the thing about Dragon Ball is that like Dragon Ball, like despite how popular it is, like still has like I feel like some ground for some
Oh,
because
it does. Like we have a good Goku video, and then like Kraftsdorf did a pretty good video on the villains, but he was talking about all of them, so he couldn't even go that depth on like the complicated
and
ones.
then I'm willing to bet there's a couple good Vegeta videos out there.
Yeah, because
Vegeta's
uh,
very popular.
yeah, even though I don't like Vegeta very much.
Yeah, I know there's like some series like Dragon Ball Dissection, which literally goes like volume by volume, arc by arc, or
Which,
whatever.
although I think that's less so interesting for the way it analyzes the story, and more so it's interesting because what's her name? Whatever her name is, she is so unbelievably knowledgeable about like the production of Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, and like one thing the Myster Fusion, I think the channel's
Yeah,
called.
yeah, that's her name.
Yeah,
Uh,
so like Myster Fusion, like they will actually like read the Japanese like raw. So like
mhm.
again, a lot of things that like get mistranslation will just be included in their videos because
Oh,
they're
yeah, they spend, I think, like a video and a half just being like, no one understands what the fuck kami means because they watched the dub. Uh, no, and no, I think I don't agree with their actual arc rankings because I think their bottom three are the three Z arcs. But but no, I think they are super interesting when it comes to learning about the production of both the anime and the manga in a lot of interesting ways.
yeah.
Woo, we talked
Well,
about a
yep,
bunch of
yep,
shit.
yep. Good night, everyone. Stopping the recording
Bye.
now. Bye.